It is time to pull out your crock pot. This past week, I filmed 3 different recipes for my family for dinner, so let's go ahead and get right into them. Okay, we are starting our dinner tonight, browning up some ground beef. So I've got a pound of ground beef here. It's a little over a pound. I'm gonna add a little bit of onion powder, and these I do not measure. I just sprinkle over the top, as well as garlic powder just for some extra flavor. I've got my stove on medium high and I'm just gonna brown this up a bit. My ground beef is not done, obviously, but it's about halfway through, and I am adding in, I'm taking the easy route. I have this frozen crushed garlic, so I'm going to add in 2 little cubes of that. You can totally use fresh if you want. And then I also chopped up an onion, and I'm going to add that in and just let these cook together until the ground beef is completely done. My ground beef is done, onions slightly softened, kitchen is smelling delicious with all the garlic. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my stove top off. And I've got my crock pot here. I am utilizing a liner. I'm using my crock pot 3 times this week, and I just don't want to clean it that many times. So I'm using a liner. I'm getting my ground beef, onion, garlic in here. And no, I'm not draining it or anything. All those juices are going in there as well. That is flavor. All right, to my crock pot, I'm adding in a hefty tablespoon of Italian seasoning, a teaspoon of salt, and about half a teaspoon of pepper. Next up is a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce and a 15-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. I'm gonna stir everything together. And that is it for now. We do have several more ingredients going in, but those are gonna be added in several hours, much later on. So this part, I'm going to cook it on low, and I'm gonna go up to 7 hours, just 6 or 7. Mainly, you're just letting all the seasonings and everything cook together. The longer you let it cook, the more flavorful it will be. Time to add the rest of the ingredients so we can finish up this dinner. So I have a bag of spinach. It was in my freezer, I let it thaw. This is like a microwavable bag, so I did go ahead and pop it in the microwave for 1 minute just to soften it up a bit. And then I'm also adding in, I don't think I'm gonna add this full bag in. I'm gonna do a little over half. I'm clenching it too tight, there we go. A little over half, like 3/4 of my bag. How big is this bag? It's 16 ounces, but I'm gonna stir it all together, and then if I feel like I want to add more, I'll add more, but you guys will see that. And then I'm gonna measure this just so I don't do too much, but I'm gonna add in like 3/4 of a cup of mozzarella cheese and half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Okay, and then I'm gonna stir all of this together. Make sure I get the sauce covering all the noodles. And then once I get this all stirred together, I'll see if I want to add more of the noodles or not. Okay, definitely not going to add any more pasta. I feel like that's enough. However, now that I've got it all mixed together, I am going to sprinkle maybe half a cup of cheese. I'm not really measuring. I'm just trying to give y'all a measurement to help if you need it. But I'm just going to lightly cover the top with the mozzarella cheese. Just like that, just so it gets nice and melty on the top. All right, I am going to cover it, putting my lid back on, and then I'm gonna let this cook on high for 30 minutes. All right, dinner is done. So we've got our little bow tie spaghetti-ish dish right here. I just bought a bag salad to go on the side. And here it is all plated up. So definitely loving the crock pot, making it easy for this holiday busy season that we're getting into, but I do have 2 more recipes coming up that we're gonna make this week as well. So let me go ahead and call my family in, get everybody else's plates doled out, and we are going to dig right into our dinner tonight. Dinner number 2 in the crock pot. I am adding in about 1.5 pounds of chicken. I have 3 chicken breasts here. Boneless, skinless. We're gonna be taking this chicken out of the crock pot later on and shredding it. Okay, I have this Better Than Bouillon chicken base. So I'm going to add in about 1.5 teaspoons of that just right here on top of my chicken, along with 8 ounces of water. Now for some seasonings. 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Then we've got 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme and 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary. On top of the chicken and seasoning, I'm adding 2 cans of cream of chicken. They are 10.5 ounce cans. Plopping those in right on top. I've got a 16-ounce bag of frozen veggies here, pouring that in. This mixture has corn, peas, carrots, and green beans. Then I peeled and diced 6 russet potatoes, or not russet, Yukon Gold potatoes, and I am adding them in. I'm just gonna spread it out so it's even over the top. And last but not least, just like last night's dinner, I'm using my little frozen garlic cubes here. And I think I'm gonna put 3 in. So I'm just gonna pop them in on top here. 1, 2, and 3. I'm not gonna mix it just yet while it's cooking. I will mix it up. It'll be easier once it starts to get warm. So getting my lid on and selecting low, or put your slow cooker on low, whatever you need to do that. And then this is going to cook for 8 hours. You can also do on high for like 3 to 4 hours. And like I said, I will be mixing it periodically as it's starting to warm up and the soups, the canned soups or cream of chicken mixture gets a little more easy to handle. We're not done yet. We're gonna add some more at the end and then I'll show you guys what I'm serving it with. But this is like chicken pot pie in the crock pot. You know, not in a pie perhaps, but in the crock pot, more soup-like. Time is up. I went ahead and took the chicken breast out and got that all shredded. I'm going to add it back into the crock pot with everything else. And then I'm also adding in 1/2 cup of sour cream. I'm gonna get the chicken and the sour cream all mixed into everything. All right, it's all mixed together. I'm keeping my crock pot on warm because we're not ready for dinner just yet. I picked up a can of Grand's biscuits and that is just what chicken pot pie needs, right? We're missing the pie. We've got the potatoes in there, but we definitely need some biscuits. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my oven prepped or heated and bake these up, and then I'll be able to serve dinner. Dinner is done. Crock pot meal number 2. I am excited to dig into this. I just love pot pie and I love soupy dishes. This isn't technically a soup, but this is the kind of thing I like. So I am excited to dig into dinner tonight. I'm gonna get everybody's set up and we are going to eat, but I do have one more to share with you guys. So hold on just a second. We're gonna finish up our dinner, our crock pot dinner for tonight, and I will be right back with another one that I'm going to be whipping up tomorrow, but you guys are gonna see it here in just a second. Dinner tonight, we are having kind of like a Mississippi beef and noodles. So I've got a huge pack of stew meat in my crock pot. You could use a brisket and then shred it later on, really whatever you wanted, beef steak. We're just using stew meat for this because that's what I have in my freezer. So I've got that in my crock pot, and then I am sprinkling just all over an au jus gravy mix. You could use a brown gravy mix, just, you know, any kind of gravy that you want. And then I'm also going to sprinkle a ranch seasoning pack. Get that in there. And then this is totally optional, but it's not really focusing on it. Ooh, this is the Trader Joe's 21 seasoning salute, and we really like this on everything. So I'm just going to kind of heavy-handed sprinkle this on top. You guys could use Italian seasoning. I mean, really just whatever you want. Whatever flavor profile you guys like, add that in. Okay, now for some pepperoncinis. Let's see, I'll tell you the amount after I get them in here. I'm thinking 6 to 8 probably. Yeah, I'm gonna do 8. And then I'm just gonna add a little, 2 big splashes of the juice. Okay, and then if you had brisket, obviously you wouldn't have to worry about mixing it up, but because I have this crock pot almost completely full of the stew meat, I am gonna go ahead and just do a little mixing so these flavor packets and all the seasoning I've added in here kind of gets a little bit on all of it. And I'll stir it up as it's cooking as well. Just want to make sure I get it down in there a little bit. Okay, so next up I have a 1/4 cup, half a stick of butter that I just cut into little slices. I'm mixing that all around. I've got these little itty bitty pieces too. Okay, now for some broth. So I have this Better Than Bouillon beef base, and that's what I'm going to use. And I'm gonna utilize 4 teaspoons of it. I really want a lot of flavor in here. And because I have this base, I'm gonna be adding in 4 cups of water. But if you guys are just using broth, it would be 4 cups, 2 cans of a beef broth. All right, so there's 4 teaspoons of the base. And then like I said, because I'm not using a beef broth, I do need some liquid in here. So I'm adding in 4 cups of water. That's all that's going in here for now. I'm gonna get my lid on and I'm going to cook it on low. You could do high if you wanted it done faster for maybe like 4 or 5 hours, but I'm gonna do it on low and I'm gonna go all the way up to 9 hours. And then we are gonna add in our noodles at the end and let those cook for another 30 minutes, but 9 hours for now. And like I said, I am gonna stir occasionally just to make sure everything's getting all mixed up in there and the flavors are all over every little piece of meat. Okay, 9 hours is up. Woo, look at that steam. There we go. I had to wipe the camera off for a second. Oh my gosh, this definitely made my house smell absolutely delicious all day. Sometimes crock pot meals are absolutely delicious smelling. Other times they're not as strong. This one's definitely strong. And I have been loving it all day. Okay, I have 2 bags of these home style egg noodles. They are both 16 ounces. I'm going to put 1 in here. And yeah, I'm gonna put both in here because we're gonna have plenty of leftovers and I know these noodles are gonna be really good with all this extra liquid. So I'm gonna add the whole second bag. This will definitely feed a crowd. Since I'm making all 3 of these crock pot meals in 1 week, I only planned 3 dinners for Monday through Friday. Thursday and Friday, it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. And Thursday and Friday, I just put leftovers on the meal plan, although we don't have any leftovers from yesterday or the first one with the spinach bow tie pasta dish. So this may not feed us 2 whole days, but we have plenty of other things that I can just pull together, or it can be a fend for yourself night. All right, I got that pretty well mixed up. I'm just gonna make sure all the noodles are covered, and then I'm going to put the crock pot on low. And I'm gonna wait about 30 minutes, check and see if that is long enough, but it could take up to an hour for these noodles since they are frozen. They're coming straight from the freezer. Dinner is ready. I didn't plate up anything to show you guys it on a plate. I'm not quite sure yet what I want to use. If I want to use a plate or if I want to use our little like thinner bowls. I think I used a thinner bowl yesterday with the pot pie, but because there is still quite a bit of liquid in here. But here's the beef and noodles, and then I'm just serving it with roasted broccoli on the side. I just had a bag of frozen broccoli, so I put some salt, pepper, olive oil, and then the same Trader Joe's 21 seasoning salute all over the broccoli and roasted that for a good 30 minutes. But here is our crock pot dinner for tonight. All right, so those are the 3 dinners that we had this past week that I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you liked them. I will have the like inspiration recipes that I found online linked down below. I do change things up from time to time, so if you guys were like listening to ingredients and you're looking at the one that I'm linking, you're like, hey, it doesn't say that. I make it my own. I always make everything my own in my kitchen, so just keep that in mind. But I will have all 3 linked in the description box. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.